A huge shout out to the overthinkers. An overthinker, he watches the show.
To the overthinkers, shout out Buffet too.
All about Fetu, this is Parker, yeah? Thank you, overthinkers.
Keep inspiring the next generation.
Shout out to the overthinkers, Tando Pela, much love.
To my overthinkers, mamela ubuchopho ngeke buphume buyakhula nizinja nikhokho yazini as overthink siya overachieve.
I'm stealing that. I've stolen that one. I've stolen it.
As overthinking, man. As overthinking, siya overachiever. Guys, welcome everybody to the Overthinking Football Show. My name is Mokwena. I am your host, and this show is a place where we can meet up and we can talk football. We can talk South African football, we talk African football, and then every now and then we go on and we speak about what's happening in Europe. Today we're going to have a discussion about referees. If you're watching the show for the first time, the show is on every Monday to Thursday at 7 p.m. You can watch this show. But then also, if there are watch-alongs, so if Chiefs, Pirates, Sundowns, Bafana, Banyana, UWC in the Champions League are playing, I will be here watching those games live. And you'll be able to jump in. One thing about this platform, it's very interactive. And when I speak about interactivity, I mean you can literally jump in and we can have a conversation about whatever the topic is, and I get to hear from you. And how do you do that? You go on over to TikTok if you're watching on YouTube. If you're on TikTok, you have to be following me, so click the follow button and then click on the button at the bottom of your screen that says multi-guest. Click on it and we can have a discussion about whatever it is we're speaking about. Guys, today I'm trying to get to 40,000. I'm trying to get to 40,000. That is the goal for today in terms of likes. Also, man, sendang the rose, sendang the gift, man, so I can continue doing these things. Today, guys, we're going to be speaking about referees. I'm not one to have the refereeing conversation during matches. I don't like having it during matches, but I do feel that this is a very important conversation to have so that we figure out where we are with referees, so exactly where we are, where it can go, what are the problems, what are some of the fixes. But I want to hear from you. This past weekend, we had a match where mamelodi Sundowns took on the Kaizer Chiefs, and there was a lot of controversies that happened in that game. And the referee of that game, was put under a lot of pressure, man. Afterwards, a lot of people pointing at him and doing all of that. By the way, Skhumbuzo Kasa, referee of the year last year. But there's a few things that we have to touch upon when having this conversation so we can have it in full. So I have to speak about the current state of referees. Right now, as far as I know it, there's only a few countries in the world that have professional referees. So this means full-time. They are just refereeing. That's all they do, right? PG Mol is one of them. So PG Mol is the Professional Game Match Officials Limited, which is a company that was started over in England that governs their referees. So their referees are governed by that company. They have a whole structure. They have a chairman. They have a board. They have all of that stuff. And they run referees. For example, in South Africa, our referees are run by SAFA. And SAFA is the one that controls refs. So the PSL actually loans their refs essentially from SAFA, and they have a shaky relationship. So when we look at things like VAR and all of those things, they come into play. Those things come into play when you speak about the relationship between SAFA and the PSL, for example, and SAFA and everybody else. So if you look at VAR, one of the big questions is who's going to pay for VAR, for example? Who's going to pay for it? Does it fall under the PSL for people they don't control? Does it fall under SAFA for people that they don't use that much in terms of their own capacity? It's more for the PSL. So now there's a lot of conversations that we can have. We speak about VAR, technology, training, all of that type of stuff. I want to have those conversations. So the first thing I'm going to ask for people who are coming in to the panels, I'm going to ask you first for your general thoughts. What are your general thoughts about refereeing in the country? And then we'll get into some of the things that have been said, some of the questions that I may have that I will ask you, and we also have some people who may be able to shed some more light on this matter as well. So this is what we're going to be discussing today. Beko says refereeing must be taken as a career, not part-time. We must import from other countries. Well, to be fair, other countries don't have professional. There's only a few countries in the world that have professional refs, like full-time refs. There's only a few of them. And I highlighted one, which is in England, PG Mol. So is it really that different across the world, even with the things that we're seeing with the things that are they're getting wrong or right, or the questions we have? But let me open up so that we can have the conversation. But first, let me just fix the time quickly. I'm going to try get in as many people as I can, and then we'll go from there. So let's see who is here, and let's have a conversation. TV rights partners aren't allowed. Let's have a conversation. TV rights partners aren't allowed. FIFA handles the tender, and the tender goes to, I think it was 2 companies, if I'm not mistaken, that run VAR across the world. So there was something that was tried by PSL and Supersport, but they're not allowed. They don't have the latitude to go and do VAR that way. So it has to come from a specific provider. So it's a specific vendor that FIFA has approved, and that is how you get it. Let me go to Kumo. Kumo, welcome to the show, my brother. How are you?
I'm awesome, and how are you?
Man Kimnati, Kumo Kimnati. Kumo, how do you feel about refereeing South Africa? I'll start it there. What are your general thoughts about refereeing South Africa?
Kalabarino, especially
Hey, guys, can you?
But on the flip side, there's been some.
Guys, am I cutting or is it Kumo?
Because I see I've got a red sign there. Ne?
Yeah, you've got a red sign.
It's me. Can you hear me? Did you guys hear my last statement?
Yeah, try it one more time.
Yeah, as I was saying, ne? Kalabarenwa, but to be fair, we've also benefited. But then again, you know what? It's referees, it's high intense, and they don't have the luxury of video assistance referees or even flashbacks like the way we do on Supersport. Ne? These people make human errors, especially when it's against you. It sucks. It's like a punch to the gut. But our referees, if you compare to the standards globally, everyone complains, as you have mentioned earlier. Even like a VAR, they still get it wrong. Then you get your PG Mall I'm sorry. I'm sorry, 3 points, I'm sorry, the difference between winning the Champions League or whatever. Or I'm sorry. So a VAR is not the magical pill that you guys think it is. It won't solve everything happen. One thing about referees, bro, you know who CAF is gonna train about 160 elite referees from Africa for VAR. So, which is a good thing. We are investing, or CAF rather is investing in our referee situations. Maravalon has its own challenges. I agree. First of all, for you to have VAR, the stadiums cost about $3 million to $5 million per season. Not only that, the stadium has to be implementable, and you know we've got a few referees like Cape Town. What if the DHL Stormers are playing with DHL Stadium? So meaning Stellenbosch has to play with Danny Craven, and Danny Craven definitely won't be able to have equipment there. So I don't know, man. We've proved to the AFCON, we've got some of the elite referees here in Africa, good small countries. So even our referees, man, Agribo is no Kalebawina on the global stage to show we can produce great referees. So as much as it sucks, as much as people benefit, we have to be honest. Referees are human, and sometimes they won't get it right. We just have to suck it up and debate for over and over. But yeah, nake sharp thing. Sharp.
Let me go to Kamu. Kamu, welcome to the show. How are you?
Hi, gents. I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I'm good. Kamu, tell me, how do you feel about the refereeing in the country?
I think it's terrible. And the reason I say it's terrible is because I look at it 2 ways, right? the understanding of the laws of the game by the referees and their ability to apply those laws in real time without the benefit of looking at the video again. So those are two separate things. But on the first issue, how possible is it that you have on Monday on SABC 1 a former FIFA referee, Victor Hlongwane, for instance, saying that the Mamelodi Sundowns goal, Rubiero, was onside. And then separately, for instance, Ace Ngobo on Supersport says he was not offside. But these two people are applying the exact same rule. So it means that then there is an issue with how the referees understand the rule. Forget the implementation. And then the second part is the implementation, which we can give them a bit of leeway because we understand, as the previous speaker said, they do not have the benefit of re-looking at it and stuff like that. But on the basic understanding of the law, are our referees up to the standard? Are they up to par? And then the second thing I'd love to say is that on certain things we can consider discretion of the referee, like Doxo. There might be a question of, okay, the distance, the direction of play, and all of those things need to be considered. But there are certain things which must be very clear to every professional referee, or every referee, since the sector is not yet professionalized. Every referee must know that with such things, this is a clear-cut case, and this is a foul, it's not a foul. This is a yellow card offense, or this is not a yellow card offense. We shouldn't have instances where things which are supposed to be clear and basic to referees are being disputed by the people we consider to be the experts in the field. Like I quoted the example of Victor Hlongwane and Ace Ngobo differing on something which we think is basic. But on application in real time, I understand the difficulty. And to add on to what Kumo had said, the VAR will not be the magic pill, simply because VAR will only give them the officials the benefit of seeing what happened. But it goes back to point number one. If they do not agree, if there is no proper understanding of the offense itself, even if you see it 100 times, if you don't understand what the offside rule is, you will still misapply the rule, even if the VAR is given to you. So there's still a lot of work that needs to be done in terms of our refereeing. And I think that we as fans sometimes create an impression that no, Sundowns is buying referees. The Chiefs has been benefiting and all of those things. None of those things are helping us develop or diagnose the issue in refereeing, which is that the standard of refereeing is low. Thank you.
I'm going to come back. Stay on, Kamu. Let me go to Hansel. Hansel, welcome to the show. How are you, my brother?
I'm okay. How are you, Mr. Oti?
Man. Hansel, how do you feel about the state of refereeing in the country?
Yo, the state of refereeing, it's a bit awkward. It's painful to watch. Because at sometimes we understand referees are humans, right? They make mistakes like any other person. Yeah. But at the end of the day, they are also paid to do their job. Everyone must do their job, especially in decisions that leads to a team winning or to a team losing. Then it becomes a problem. I don't think. I think referees, the refereeing thing should be a permanent job. It must not be just part-time where you find referees have 3 or 4 jobs and then they must also come and be referees like it's a part-time job. I also think it affects the standard of refereeing. And also coming to VAR, if people are convinced or officials are being bribed, you can still bribe the officials who will be operating the VAR because it's people still. It's not like it's the system working on its own. It's automatic. You understand? But basically, coming back to the question, I think the refereeing on its own is terrible. But referees don't also have the luxury of having to rewind and all those kind of stuff. They're in real time, and mostly, I think the other problem is, if you check a lot of decisions that affect games, there will be close decisions, just like the 1-year Chiefs. They drew a line and then they said the leg of Miguel was in line with the leg of Roberto. You see, there's something that a referee cannot see because the referee is inside the pitch and then the lineman was also in front, right? So you understand, okay, maybe there's a few things that you can teach referees, especially in positioning. And also these things that they use saying it's game management. The referee did not give a card because it was game management. Like it brings about inconsistency. Like if it's a foul, it should be a foul. If you must give a card, you must give a card. This thing of game management, it becomes a problem. Consistency must be applied in each and every game, regardless of the magnitude of the game or whichever teams are playing. But so far, I think it's going to be a problem. It's problematic. All in all, we are all human, but yeah.
Let me go to Malume Kuto. Malume Kuto, I know this is in your wheelhouse. Welcome to the show. How do you feel about the state of refereeing in the country?
I'm going to express my views just now, Mr. Uti.
Okay. No stress. Sipo, welcome to the show. How are you?
Good evening. Thank you, Oti.
Sipo, what do you feel? How do you feel about it? The state of refereeing in the country?
The state of football and the refereeing. I think it's not too bad. There are a lot of mistakes here and there that are costly to some of the teams. But to be honest, if we can improve the level of refereeing, let's make the refereeing job to be professional. Let's make it professional. VAR is also needed along with goal line technology, because VAR without goal line technology as well is going to be almost useless. So in terms of time management, because here in South Africa, you would see a lot of stoppages during matches, but comes like when the first 45 minutes, there was a lot of stoppages in that game against Kaizer Chiefs and Sundowns. There was a lot of stoppages, but now the time that was added, it doesn't result to the amount of time that was spent in stopping the game, interrupting the game. The referee first half was stopping the match, like he was blowing his whistle every chance he could get, every contact he would stop the match, which is causing is killing the momentum of the game. So like game management, it could be interpreted in different ways, but the way he managed the first half, it was very, very poor in my side. Like that offside, I didn't understand that offside or what call. Yeah, I didn't understand that one. But the offside, the Sundowns' second goal offside, it was a spot-on decision. They didn't have VAR, so I feel they made the right call. And then Kaizer Chiefs' goal, they also made a correct call. It was a foul.
For time's sake, I'm just going to jump in. Let me let in Malume Kuto. Malume Kuto, are you situated now?
I see, Mr. Uti, either way.
Okay, Malume Kuto, it's in your wheelhouse. Tell me, how do you feel about the refereeing in the country?
You see that the guy you put there, Mr. Uti, on that screen there, that's one guy who is clear in terms of what he does. And it dates back to the Nedbank Cup final, if you think about it. The 2 penalties that he gave. This guy does not tolerate a pushing. If you think about the Dion Hoto penalty, again, the penalty against Dion Hoto, if you think about the Tito Mudiba incident, he does not take kind to an exertion of a force through a body. So clearly there's consistency there. But I think what's appalling is the perspective of my viewers in terms of understanding of the laws and interpreting and listening to people. For example, someone just lied and said Ace Ngobo said it was offside. Way. Because he actually wrote to Thomas that thing, Yaga Rivera, was not offside. He actually argued and coached to Thomas by writing, Guti, it's not offside. The referee made the right decision. Now, if we are going to tell you what's right, and when you want to insist, and then you want to tell us, Guti, now we are wrong, imagine had that been against Sundowns, then still the referees would have to take flag. And this funan. That is funan, Mr. Oti. Do we want the truth? or would we rather be soothed when it benefits us? I understand, Mr. Oti. From me now, from what I saw, Pumuto, who is a player and not a ref, made a gross mistake also, influencing people that the referee is wrong. He leans forward, standing with Matthew Booth. He leans forward with his shoulders only. But Olivero Costa is not leaning forward with his shoulders only. He leans forward, pulling his leg back. If you do that, Mr. Oti, if you pull one leg back, leaning forward, you will see that your upper body also gets pulled backwards, even though you are leaning forward. I urge anyone sitting there at home, try it. And you'll see which once you lean forward, but you stretch your back leg backwards, your other leg backwards, it then pulls your entire body backwards. And even though you are leaning forward with one leg straight with the other leg, straight with the opponent's leg, your upper body remains in line. So, Mr. Oti, is not necessarily the referees. It's the public, how they interpret the laws, how they listen to the laws. It's wrong, Mr. Oti, and you must agree more wrong. You must be teachable as a person, Mr. Oti. Which I'm wrong. I did not understand what was being said. I did not understand what was being done, and how it had to be applied. For example, Lega Tuba, it looks onside until it's against you, and you see Uchu Tuba was from his own box. Was from the opponent's half. But received it in his own half. So offside starts from when the ball was passed, not from when you receive it. So when Mituba receives that, so there's a consistency here in terms of misunderstanding of the law. People think it's when you receive the ball. It's not when you receive, it's when the pass is played. So if a pass is played while I'm in the opponent's half and I come into my own half, it's offside. If the pass is played while I'm onside and I receive it when I'm offside, it's onside, Mr. Oti. When the ball was played, I was in an onside position. To try and say these guys are bad because when your team lost, it's madness. I think we should be asking about the quality of strikers, the chances that they missed, and also applauding the goalkeepers, Mr. Oti, the quality of saves that they made. We cannot, there's one ref who says the law is not like you. The law does not change because you want it to change. Because when today you feel my team must win, it does not make sense, Mr. Oti. Like I said, I when I end the shut up when
guys, for time. I'm gonna jump in because I think this is an important point. Kumo, the influence of these post-match shows with former referees and lines being drawn, how does that play into this? And do you think that better communication from the refs themselves would be something that could help? Because if you look at PG Mo, when they apologized, we all know they apologized. We all know that something was wrong. Would that help or would it just make the situation worse?
My brother, one thing, let me tell you, as supporters, we are sensitive. Nobody converts about you don't know the football. Like the sky, but all I'm saying is that when you get people who are very influential, like let's say for instance, we love Themba Mshish, right? As a Sundowns fan. So like if he decides to become a pundit and gives his opinion, I state it as a fact. Because you know how mindless football fans can be, right? We're gonna take his word as gold and we're gonna use it and go on social media and go to debates because we can be lazy thinkers. So are independently thinkers. So I wonder if we can get I guess sometimes guys like we love ratings. We love ratings, we love football, so we love controversy. So if you can get boom is Victor Gontlongwane, like proper referees in one situation and actually listen to them, we might learn a thing or two. Mara, that type of television, it doesn't get us viewers. So maybe one referee to make it TV gold. But unfortunately, you know what? It's a fact, it's controversial, we love it, we can debate. Mara, if we can try to keep it clean, then reach over sharp.
Okay, let me
That's
go to
all I get.
Kamo. Yeah, I want to go to Kamo. Kamo, I've got the same question for you. So, would it help if there was communication from the refs? Would it help if maybe, I don't know, a Twitter account, a Facebook account for the refs where they release their own findings similar to what PG Mall does? Because for now, it seems like both Victor Songwane, but they've got so much sway in this thing afterwards. And I think the communication is getting missing there. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I think firstly with this after post-match TV, like for instance, our legends or whoever becomes a pundit, like maybe Phumuzo Manenze, they're unable to hide their biases. Whenever there's a decision which aligns with maybe Orlando Pirates and Phumuzo is there, 80% of the time he's going to agree with whatever the decision the ref took. He will not have an independent take. They say maybe if they stake Modise and Sundowns is involved in the match. So there's always that bias. So I think the first thing is that when these people come on public platforms to analyze and discuss football, there needs to be impartiality. And I don't know how from the producer side they need to be better with selection of matches and who's going to be there to analyze and discuss these things before the national TV. But again, I think it would make better sense if the refs themselves or the committee which deals with the refs comes out and issues out explanations on controversial decisions. Because like I said, if you have two refs and people in studio not agreeing on what on the correctness of a decision, at the end of the day, supporters are going to lean more towards convenient thinking. If I'm a Sundowns fan, as I am, and Victor Hlongwane says that was not an offside, it confirms my bias that Sundowns did not rob Kaizer Chiefs, and therefore I'm happy with Victor Hlongwane's decision. If Ace says no, it was offside because even if the leg is on the line, but the body is leaning towards the line because the rule says any ball playing body, if it's after the line, then it's an offside. Then that aligns to the bias of Kaizer Chiefs fans, and they are going to validate whatever that particular ref has said. So I think, firstly, we need to have more open and impartial pundits who are able to say, yes, I'm a Sundowns legend, but for the love of the game, this decision was wrong or right. And the refs, the committee to take a final decision so that we don't have two referees whom we both regard as experts having opposing views, and then at the end, leaving it to fans to decide who they trust.
For time's sake, I'm going to jump in. Let me go to Hansel. Hansel, same question to you. Do we need the referees to communicate, to the refereing body to communicate so that they can maybe fight this situation of post-match TV shows, drama line, this one saying this one saying that? Do you think it affects anything here?
Mr. Oti, I'm not really sure if it's going to change anything. But what I think will work is referees must just interpret the law as it is, and they must apply it the way it's written. You understand? Because sometimes you will see a player pushing another player inside the box, and then it's given a penalty. When it's another referee, the same thing happens. The referee does not give a penalty. It seems like each and every referee now is interpreting the law according to the way he understands it. You understand? Yeah. So for me, I think what needs to be done is proper work, proper training, and referees must just apply the law the way it is. If it's 2 minutes and then a player plays another and then he commits a dangerous foul that deserves a red cards, it doesn't matter if it's 5 seconds or 10 seconds. Dangerous play is dangerous play. This thing of interpreting the law or saying it's still early, let me just give them 15 minutes or whatever, for me it's a big problem. What I need from referees is just consistency only. Consistency. If this is a foul, it must be a foul in each and every game, not in certain games.
For time, I want to jump in. Let me go to Malome Kutso. Malome Kutso, how much is communication the issue here? Because, you know, there's social media, there's these shows, there's all of this stuff. We hardly get to hear from the refs, the refereeing committee to say, guys, this is actually it, or maybe to teach us some of those laws. Would it help at all, and what effect does these post-TV shows and highlights and what have on our perceptions of refereeing?
By the way, Mr. Uchi, send 2 roses. I hope your uncles will receive them. But Mr. Uchi, if you will allow me, Mr. Uchi, I just want to prove something. Please stand up, Mr. Uchi.
Guys. Hey, okay.
Please. Stand side. I just want to stress.
What if boxers more comfortable?
It's okay. Please lean forward with your legs together. Please lean forward. You see, you're leaning even out of the screen. Ne?
Yeah.
As you lean forward, please pull one leg backwards, Mr. Uti. Are you not leaning forward?
I'm leaning forward.
Is the one leg not aligned with your head?
It is. I'm looking at it.
That's the problem Pomoto could not understand.
Yeah.
I was trying to, I thought people would be able to get this, which just because you are leaning forward, it does not mean you are ahead. Your body structure matters, Mr. OT. And I'm glad I've been able to prove it using you as a prop. But anyway, Mr. OT, people will believe what they want. We have two referees. We have Victor Hlongwane, we have Ace Ngobo through Thomas Mlambo, both agreeing with those were good decisions. However, we love our teams. I love Orlando Pirates, you love Kaizer Chiefs, Kumo loves Sundowns. Some and others, it's not only about, Mlungisi once said this, sometimes it's also about the bread on the table. Abantu bapeshile, the Betway Premier League, bapeshile these people, Mr. OT. So whatever you say, all they are thinking of is my 3.5 is gone.
Okay.
What noma ungabafundisa wenzeni Mr. OT ubabonisa uKhumo till today Kumo says Saleng's ball against Sundowns was out when he played a cross to Kanakimang Romeo Erasmus, even with footage showing that the ball is in, Mr. OT. So sometimes the love for our teams, the love for money, because Sipechile blinds us, Mr. OT.
For time, Balobeko. So let me let Sipo have his time. We're in extra time of the first panel, but let me have Sipo. Sipo, do you think that communication would help anything here? We hear from everybody but the actual refs. You know, Victor Hlongwane, as much as he's a legend, he wasn't there. Would it help if we had some communication from the reffing body?
Yeah, I think it will help a lot. They need to also account with some of the decisions that are taken, and what are they doing to improve the referees as well. So yeah, it will help. I don't have any more thing to say about this the refereeing decision for the past weekend. There was the Sundowns game. The decisions were spot on. I don't have any doubts. I never doubted. They were clear from the beginning. So whoever is complaining, they must just deal with it.
Okay, Nastiko. Thank you so much. Thank you to the first panel. Guys, please tap the screen. Look, this is what I was asking. What I'm asking is, Victor Hlongwane, Ace Ngobo, you have the different shows and all of that stuff, Phumuzo Manetse, all of those guys. Here's the truth of the matter. The truth of the matter is that they're all using the same angle. There's no projection upwards in order to tell you whether somebody's over or under, or whether their head is in front or not in front. All of them draw their line based on feet and not necessarily based on upper body. We've seen VAR struggle with these type of things. So if all of us say Monday, we're going to see who Mr. Spot On or rain, can we say for sure that Mr. Spot On is spot on? He also watched it the way we watched it. They were all there. Maybe if there was a situation where the referees could come out and say, look, this is what I saw, this is what we interpreted, this is the truth. This is the truth from the horse's mouth, not from a player, not from a former player, not from a former ref, not from a former coach, right? This is what I want to know. And I don't even, it's not even about teams, Kagiso, it's just in general. Whenever we see these things go wrong, all of us are speaking, but we're not hearing from the actual people. And if the actual people, similar to what PGMO, Professional Game Match Officials Limited, for example, in England, at the very least, they apologize. Or at the very least, they clarify. Or at the very least, they do those things. We all know, we see those things. There was somebody in the comments who said it. And now I'm like, how important does that conversation also happen? Because the other part, before I let in the next panel, the other part of this is that they're also human. We have the benefit of watching it from 7 angles, even though we still don't have a straight, but anyway, watching it from 7 angles on replays and all of that stuff. These guys have to do it split second. So Leo forehead that goes past, the linesman has to realize and see and call it. That what that happens, they have to see it. And unfortunately, we don't have the technology even at the broadcasters to show you for sure that, guys, this is it. But anyway, let me go into the next panel. Let me see who was here. Guys, while I'm getting the people on the panel, tap the screen, man. Tata screen. Tap the screen, tap the screen, tap the screen. We're trying to get to 40,000. It's free. All you have to do is tap the screen and we'll be fine. We appreciate gifts also. So send them as well as you wish. Let me see. I just want to make sure that the guys who were here are getting in. While I do that, let me start with the Velile. Velile, mtakaba.
Wow.
Angifuni ukuyikhuluma emechini but ngifuna ukuyikhuluma le ndaba yamarefa. Ngifuna yabona sinama emotion too much basikhuluma ngama match wethu. Now I'm hoping we can have an objective conversation. Velile, how do you feel about the state of refereeing in the country?
Mina ingakho mina ngiphila kamnandi ngoba ngasho ngathi angiyentertain kakhulu ngoba ukujabula kuyashintsha. Kusasa ngenza kube yimi nje la ekhaya eSouth Africa, yeah. But on a serious note, I can only say ukuthi the bar is too low.
Yep.
Ngasho nje, when I say the bar is too low, I'm not only talking about the referee, but even in a country as a whole.
Yeah.
If you look at the type of service that we produce or that we render to any other thing that we are doing, especially whether like in a civil society or whether in companies, I don't know what happened to us like as a country itself. Because there's one thing umuntu he's full time is doing that job full time, or whether she loves it or he or she knows it. So when I'm saying like you knows it, you know it is about comprehending whatever that is required from you to perform that duty. Whether as a referee or njengoba kuwe lapho kwakho running this show on live with TikTok, you know what's required, you know what's the procedure, you know ukuthi kumele ufake those headset in order for you to hear us. So, but coming into the referee, I think okunye sibuye unfair because mostly our concentration is in the man on the middle, the one with the whistle. And if you look at them, I think when it comes to offside, their only contribution is maybe not even more than 10%. When it comes to offside, you've got your assistant referees sometimes who don't even comprehend whatever they're doing or don't know the basics of running that line. While it's so simple, it tells you that you must always be with the last man of the defense. Whether uyamove or uyaphambili uhlala naye uhlala kuye ngeke ikudidise. But here in South Africa we see one thing each and every day whereby linesmen, they're not on the line or on par with the play. We are not asking you to go to sprint and go with the play. We are asking you to be in line with the last defense. Not the whole team. You won't even run like a referee, but you have to go that side. Or Maktiwa, like the team is counter-attacking, you have to take a sprint. No. Stick with the last man of the defense. Because remember, you are allocated only the half side of the field. You are not allocated the whole field as an assistant referee. But they are failing just to do that. And of which end of the day, what does the influencer will be? Influencer referee match. Because now, if you have to look at the start of the games, if you have to pinpoint who to referee, which mistake did he do? Uzothi last goal late Chiefs that is allowed and what else? Maybe 3. You won't talk about the full match holistically. Whereby if Victor specific match wonke, besingakhona ukumjudge referee, but sometimes referees, when it comes to you handling the match here, you are not fair in terms of like what to beg the referee that was handling the game Pirates and the Richards Bay.
Yeah.
Of which I felt in some instances he was so poor because you cannot try to manage the game in such a way now you want to tell the players what they must do. If there's a dead ball or a corner kick, players are moving around, pushing it. The ball's not even kicked, but you are always want to tell them first before. He has stopped the match before doing that. But Is the referee coaching the players now what to do, Ganjan? Because leave them. If the ball is kicked in and then there's an infringement, you will judge it.
Oh, for time, I see you're gonna run very close to the 5 minutes, but very is VAR the answer?
It's not the full answer completely. It will assist. It will assist, but it's not the answer that can solve every problem that we have now. It is not. Because for a VAR to be implemented, I'm even feeling sorry and ashamed, because the chairman was given an opportunity to answer this question when the league, before the league call. And then he just pushes the whole thing into SAFA. Yes, we know SAFA is in charge of the referees. But now the referees, people are crying about your product. Product in PSL is not SAFA's product. It's your brand, it's your product. But now if the people that they must make sure, that are supposed to make sure that your brand or your product runs successfully, they are not meeting the criteria, or people are always complaining about them, surely you need to take the step forward and not put it blankly with SAFA. So no, it's only SAFA must do it, everything is in order, SAFA must just do it. No, you were there because he hasn't done anything to us, which are meant to demonstrate with value if VAR is serious about it. He hasn't done that to us.
Yeah. For time, I'm gonna step in. Hey, Tebza, welcome to the show. How are you?
Sharp, how's it?
Man, Tebza, what are your general thoughts about refereeing in South Africa, and then VAR? Is it the answer that we all think it is?
The standard of refereeing in South Africa is very poor, man. Let's be honest, it's just poor. But then sometimes, us fans as well, we are too harsh on them, even though we're saying it's very poor. On some decisions, we have to be honest, man. You understand? Because we are human and we must think of other people as well. You understand? Because of two wrongs doesn't make a right. Doesn't mean if they're performing poor when they do bad and then it doesn't solve anything. I'll make an example about our game. Those decisions, when I went back home and checked them, they were so close. I might see them as offside, yes, because I scrutinized them. I sat down and analyzed it. But then, they, as you said, they have only split seconds to make a decision. You understand? And we don't have VAR. So in that case, it means all the rules must apply on referees, that if they are not sure of a decision of an offside or anything, they must give an advantage to the attacking team. That's how they should apply it, because they don't have VAR where they say, okay, give an advantage to the attacking team. Then we will come back to it and analyze the offside rule or the foul inside the box and everything. So in that case, we should give them the benefit of the doubt that, look, man, it was tight. For the mere fact that we are arguing about decision error as a country, it means it was tight. You understand? So no, look, the referee got it spot on. It was onside because of my benefit. It's like that. So, but then the standard of refereeing must improve.
But can I ask Tebza? We watch the English Premiership. What's about every week? The lines are offside. By a mistake, is it the answer?
VAR is the answer when OT, because we have to move with times, and it has been shown if used correctly, it can be effective. You understand? It's not impossible. It is possible. Tabagore. Controversy due to biased. You see, go England, the decisions that they are just being biased. You understand? Clear bias because of the lack consistency. Someone does something that side, but then when someone does it this side, punish. We are not saying they shouldn't punish this person, but then why didn't you punish that other person? Give to by question and go English Premiership. They lack consistency. They apply the rules correctly, but then they are not consistent with the rules. So now VAR is the answer, but then we should apply it correct. If applied correctly, it doesn't have any problems, Mr. Uti. It's clear. We saw it have gone on. It is possible. How is it possible or AFCON even right and then in local leagues even impossible? No. How gonna?
Okay, Debza. Let me go to Uskarafish. Skarafish, welcome to the show. How are you?
Who cares? Who cares?
Hey, who cares? Who cares? Morocco, but what do you think about refereeing in the country and this VAR, man? Is it gonna help anything?
No, the VAR is not gonna help. Let me tell you why. Because the VAR is still controlled by a person. So the main problem is a person. A person that stands to benefit nothing will always give you the right decision. But the person also benefits if this wins and what, then that's the biggest problem. This thing goes down. We've got coaches, we've got referees that are doing that in the LFAs. If you have PSL already, those referees knows money.
Yeah.
So even if ungabayenza ukuthi babe permanent, as long as there's a bigger check, the problem. Why don't we make this thing automated? No one touches anything. If we need, if offside, we need to let those go and say, umuntu offside, let your body be in front, then you are offside. Then we make this thing goal line technology. It goal line technology, the watch needs to turn on and say it's green, then the offside, let them do the offside like that. But to show you, Guti, it's not just that. Abantu, they are talking about this because of the incident that happened. There's a lot of decisions about that are failing us. There's a 6-second rule that you have more goalkeeper. You need to hold the ball 6 seconds. After that, you need to release it. But how many times do you see our goalkeeper holding the ball more than a minute? Are we saying something about that? No. Because why? I got affected directly. So we need to check all those things. They need to have a card with every game. Who perform in this aspect. Then we score them every game. Then we hit them where it hits me. It's okay, sharp. If you score below 50%, there's no need you go to hold. You were not doing anything there. We start doing that. We start we give them incentives, kubo referee, and then we see who are the real referees, and then sibapa a permanent job. Because now you will give the same people a full-time job referee.
So then, so if we agree, Hore, all of the matches have these problems, and there's this thought brown paper bag.
It's not a thought.
What does that say about the teams then? Are they all in on it? Is that why maybe we're not getting VAR?
Remember this. The teams, the business school avantula. So every business needs to make a profit. So if they lose and get relegated, who are a problem to come up? So they do by all means. Okay, let me just make an example. Let's say
Papa, could you please mute there? Papa, could you please mute there for a little bit?
Yeah. If Royal AM, example, I'm not saying Real AM is doing that. I'm just making an example because everyone knows good bane mali. If bazo relegator, ngale game yokugcina, it will cost them more to be relegated than to pay you referee. Do you understand why So that's why if you have automated things like lezo zintabo goal line technology, even if bathanda, that machine It might be those decisions, lezes ama free kick nani, but I'm a clear offside, clear handball, clear goal. Izoba keeper out. This thing is a problem, Mike. I am telling you. There's teams about winner 41-0. Good last game of the season. Eh?
Amateur 40 goals. Ukora 41.
Yes. Exactly. You see Guti Lereng Legutinga injured. Take those referees bahambe bayo referee under 11 abo bona laba badlisa ama Chiefs la. Bahambe bayo under 11 bayo judge. Bazobuya step by step.
Okay.
Even the one ote wakusaseka sengphuma before nama seconds here. Lord wakusaseka. There's an interview that says, tell me one referee ota zange bakhe bam offer imali. So do you tell me which all those referees said no to Leo Mali? It's not possible.
Okay. Well, before I let you know, Buyo, that's why I'm asking, because now I'm saying, if we're saying that all of these teams are in on it and everybody's getting bribed and everybody's doing anything, what would be my incentive as a team to take it away and make it automated? So if I am in the relegation zone and allegedly I pay a bribe that gets me out of relegation zone, why would I want to take away that mechanism? If I'm number one and I want to keep an unbeaten or something like that, how would you regulate that? And what do we say about the teams? That's the question I'm asking. Maraskara, for time's sake, I need to go to Upapatsego. Two questions. What are your general thoughts about refereeing in SA? And then, would VAR help?
Evening, OT. Yeah, our refereeing is average, according to me.
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen that on the Saturday game. I mean, the mistakes that the officials did there, I mean, it was so embarrassing, especially when we were at the stadium and witnessing, I mean, the emotions were involved. I mean, Abud Kuto is saying that it was an onside, it was an offside. If you can look at the angle they used the front angle. You cannot see the correct line using the front angle. They should have used the one that is in line with the last line. I mean, as we speak now, actually it's paused, like I'm watching the replay, the highlight, and you can, I mean, I think majority of you guys has the PVR. Pause and play until the ball is kicked. You will see, because the camera gave us the right angle, the one that is in line with the last line of players. You will see this guy, Ribeiro, Costa, he was way in front when the ball is kicked. Don't use the one in front. Don't use the front angle, because it doesn't show you the upper body and the head.
Yeah.
This one, I'm looking at it as we speak. So he was definitely offside. And we cannot.
So Papatiko, I want to ask you then, with VAR, we've seen the same problems with VAR in England. We've seen VAR every day when we watch Soccer Zone and all of those things and the way they draw the lines and do all of that stuff. And we've seen them disagree sometimes on different channels and different people. How is that going to change when it comes to actual VAR implementation? Because now we're seeing VAR in the world also struggling. Look at the lines that are offside.
Yeah, I think they should first introduce the goal line technology, but also with the VAR, it's controlled by people. So I mean, they would also use an angle that will justify their action. You understand? So if you are using the right angle, then you can say, okay, it was an offside or onside. But then if you are using the wrong angle, that will justify your decision, then is wrong. You understand? I don't think even Mr. Tlongwane used the right one. He only wanted to defend the referee. You understand? He should have used the camera that was in line with the last line of defense. So not the one that he used. You can't see the whole body. You cannot see. Well, they won, it's okay. But the officiating was poor, according to me, and the officiating as a whole in South Africa, I think it's average. It's not the best. I mean, the push, yes, I understand it was a push. That one, I agree with the referee. The one from Duba, in my opinion, I think when the ball was kicked, Duba was already in the Kaizer Chiefs line. So I don't know. The thing is very poor according to me. OT.
So then, very quickly, you've got a minute. Let me ask you this: what will VAR help? So let's say we see this line, the ref says no, or the VAR people say no. What's going to happen tomorrow? We're seeing PG Mall apologizing and moving on. There's no 3 points that comes back. Are we not making this VAR thing to be more than it actually will be?
It will help to a certain extent, but it won't help entirely. But it will minimize the wrong decisions that the officiating will make. So it will minimize them. So it won't help entirely, but it's maybe by 50% is better than nothing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me go to Vuyo. Vuyo, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm good, my brother. I'm very, very happy. I'm gaining weight, by the way. Particular. OT, let me
Two
start
questions, general.
Let me start with saying, guys, you overthinkers and Linda Pep, you're doing a good job, by the way, for what you're doing. It's one of the best things you ever done for us as a youth. I am encouraging you guys to do these things more. We wish you all the best. I even wish to join your panel in the WhatsApp and everywhere, but I'll join you soon.
Okay. No, thank you.
We can start now.
So tell me, general thoughts about refereeing the country and VAR. Is it actually going to help anything?
OT, let's be fair to each and everyone. And mangti fair, yiba fair now emsebenzini wakho awenza ama mistake. If you are uyawenza. So manje umuntu makenza mistake, it's normal. If it's bad, you write a warning. So refereeing is growing up all over the world. So if South African football ayifuna ukukhula yona ukuthi kube nama goal line technology, kube ne VAR, there is nothing abo referee abazoyenza, because the VAR, those things wena ukhona ukuziphosa abo referee abakhoni, because igame ifast kakhulu. Look at the players, look at the speed of the likes of the Patrice. Do you know ukuthi the Patrice unakushila umshila right position in front. I know lento leyo once a soccer player, so those players are fast also, and those referees are also human beings as well. So let's not saying because mina angbenefitanga as Sundowns and then I'll shift this thing as a big issue. This thing happened all over the world. And ayiqali namhlanje uthi uzokhumbula ukuthi une-cup iCoca-Cola cup ya atazwana khipha ibhola ngesandla. I'm lying to you. Ayiqali namhlanje. So let's not make
Stanton Fredericks bathatha ibhola al-cover, al-pick up, al-bega foot. Yeah, I remember them.
Yeah, so manje if i-PSL yona lama chairman we-PSL angafuni uku-interfere ukuthi let's buy lento ye-VAR sihelpane neSAFA together to bring every machine la in South Africa. Lama referees are not human beings na wona. They are not. How difficult bona ukuthi bayibone into efana nale. Ngapha siyabarasela, ngapha noma ba right sithi ba wrong because thina as benefit. No, we need to go out there. Sikhulumeni iqiniso bafethu. Nabantwana abancane abamamela lezi zinto lezi. Let's not too busy wenza ama-pause wenza in ungathi wena u-referee. If you are the better referee, hamba ufundela kuba i-referee. Sibone wena lapha egroundini ukuthi uzowenzani wena. Because you can speak outside as a fan. Ukhuluma into ezofavor wena. Kunezinto it doesn't allow. I'm very disappointed, by the way, by the coaches, technical team of Kaizer Chiefs. They are acting like an amateur. In football, you don't do the. I was listen to this. You don't agree with ama referees. You can lose focus. Then go to analyze the game yako. How are you going to score? How are you going to approach the game? Because at the end of the day, the referee's decision is final. And the likes of Miguel, if you are a true technical team and a true management, you can sit down with Miguel and Sereno, guys. I think you are old enough. You need to lead by example. We're gonna need you this season because those guys, sometimes they act like abantwana abancane. We don't need pushana, no man. Ukhulile, ukhoti, mfethu, ukhoti. If Themba's one at the time userino amthekile, wayeke inyawo zakhe. It was supposed to be a red card. Bozozo, South Africa. The refereeing, Butwam, is been poor from early 90s. Sikula. So ukuyichanger ukuthi kufake bo VAR so that lo muntu abe ne-option yokuthi ahamba yobheka lapha OT afake pause and then another thing I'm very disappointed with Phumuzo. No man, no, you don't have to show the whole world ukuthi wena uyafavor. If it's a red card, it's a red card. Why are you pulling off? I know, no, that's crazy, bro. Yeah, I know. If it's a red card, it's a red card. Be professional emsebenzini wakho. Angeke sikutshele kanjani. And I don't care who said what. So it's a red card. They have been benefiting. But in football, the language of football, they say you're not benefiting. So, asikho lapho OT. Mina ngithanda ukubonga le thuba, ngishela abanye abantwana, but I'm happy with the refereeing. They done a good game on a weekend against Sundowns and Kaizer Chiefs, a big game with the biggest support because we pressed the referees ukuthi benza ama mistakes with our support and everything. They are human beings now. Ama mistakes bayawenza kumele accept and move on. Mina if ngibenefitile, I'm happy with it. Ngiphakamisa isandla, I'm happy. I'm going to win the league with the benefiting. We are happy. We're going forward. Thank you.
No, thank you. Buya, guys, that was that panel. So I'm going to ask it like that now. I'm going to ask you general thoughts. I'll give you the question up front because I see that going back is a bit tough here, guys. Please tap the screen. Question for the comment. Who stands to benefit without VAR? Let me put it there. Okay, let me get in the next panel, guys. Please tap the screen. Let me see who was here so I can put them in. What's Java Lava Batsamaile? Maras Java, come back. We've got 2 more panels for the show. Let me just make sure that the guys who are here can come in. Okay, let's see. I'll let in Spoo. Let's get some voices that we don't normally get here. Okay, let me start it off. Agent, my brother, welcome to the show. How are you?
Good evening. I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm okay. Agent, general thoughts about refereeing in the country, and then are we blowing this out of proportion? Are we scapegoating the refs, as Victor Hlongwane is saying, on the one side, but also overseas? We complain about these things all the time. We see the complaints from the teams. We see PG Ball apologizing. Are we just making it so big because it just so happens to be Chiefs and Sundowns and Pirates? We don't care when it happens to Richards Bay.
Yeah, don't forget our time are there.
Yeah.
I think the most important thing that I always say is I think South Africa is the best referees in Africa and arguably in the world. I think I've only seen Spain referees doing better than us, to be fair with you. So I think the referees are doing a very, very, very good job, but they're human, and to err is human. Why am I saying we're doing a good job? The very few incidences, and when I mean few, I mean like very few incidences where they get it wrong, and we forget about the other 99% calls that they get right. We only focus on the 1% that they get wrong, and I've had the benefit of being on Overthinking Football Group. We go over things over and over and over and over again in our personal space, over and over and over, until there's some sort of consensus. And I've come to realize that actually, when you look at the decision first hand, you'd think that was an incorrect call. But when you do it over and over again with the guys and everybody there, you get, actually, that was a correct call. I don't know how many decisions have gotten like that, Even the Nedbank Cup final where I thought Pirates benefited, we went that over and over again, like actually Pirates didn't benefit, On Saturday I had the opinion that that might have been a what is it called, a foul, an offside, and we looked with the guys over and over and over again, like actually it wasn't an offside, and even if it was an offside, it's a minute offside that you have to give benefit of the doubt to the ref, who sees first time, and you look at the lines that were drawn, specifically in super sport, because I saw both things. The slanting, just look at the green grass, which is perfectly straight, and look at the other one, which is slanting, And Awutu Kutso made a demonstration that I had to go back and look at it. Both legs of Ribeiro are not on the same line, like they're not standing together. The other one is back, the other one is forward. And he made you do the demonstration, So even with all this evidence, we still don't accept that was a correct call. If anything, close, and if close, you give benefit of the doubt to the attacking team, But again, for me, it's the pundits that make things worse. That I look at you as a pundit. I was listening to Emanenge. I was trying to hear him, But he lost me, and he lost all credibility when he says Lebusa slipped. When everybody can see that Lebusa was pushed. He lost my credibility and said that wasn't a red card, but because we know he's a Paris fan, and everyone is agreeing that actually that was a red card,
Should we listen to pundits? Should we listen to pundits, former refs, TV people? What does that affect the game? Because Lebona, they're not on the pitch, to be fair.
That's the thing, we have to listen to these people because they're, as I call them, they're content creators like you guys now. It's about getting the views, about getting that, and everyone will always choose the one that he prefers to listen so that he can be justified. But for me, I feel like the match analysis, the what is it called? The match report should be made public. For me, I don't know if it's made public yet, but if it's made public, they should tell us where it is, and the reviews of that match. I think they do reviews. They should also tell us, they should also make the minutes of that meeting public, or the final decision of that review made public. I think that would help, so that's why I believe that could help, and that's my last take. Papa said, look at it. Look at it now. The one leg is in front of the other. They're not together on the same spot. One is behind, one is in front. And that's the demonstration that Pitso was doing. So thank you. But people will never listen to him. It's all about doing what your favors your team, and that's okay, man. Opinions are like the behind. Everyone should have them.
As you always say, let me go to Hosni Samora. How are you? Welcome.
Hey, I'm good, OT, and you?
I'm Kimnati. Also, Samora, tell me, how do you feel about the standard of refereeing? Number one, and are we blowing these things out of proportion? Because at the end of the day, it's one decision out of a big game, and you look at refereeing around the world, people complain all the time. Are we making it more than it is because it's close to our heart?
What's the problem, OT? Everyone, Mzansi has a team that they follow, irrespective of like a horror or Berekakai. You understand? The standard of the referees like Mo PSL is very poor to start with. It's very, very, very poor. And then like Regaspa blame at some point. Or no start up ka agency being suffer. You understand? OT. These guys, they are aware or like these silly mistakes like each and every game. You understand? But who blame, yes, it is permissible or like blame. Mara or like justify it about they are human being. Come on, guys. No. One silly mistake, OT, can change the whole dimension of a game. For example, to start with, the yellow card that guy or feeling serene within the first attempt, first 14 minutes. Why don't automatically invite this unfriendly attitude within the game? Understand? The player like a pound for pound, but due to the fact that only favoritism over this other team, and then it creates this bad attitude between, and then right to Serino Motaung in the first place. You understand? So not this thing, Mr. Oti.
ke blame Safa.
Yeah.
It is so embarrassing in 2024, like for each and every match, again, it's a single match, but to pay a referee a minimum wage of 6,000. That could go on to like my fellow, but I won't be surprised the henga would like that guy would not betile between Sundowns or Mwaya winner or winning Sundowns over 2.5. I won't be surprised. You understand? Set a bar, yeah, the referees. And train these guys each and every season we're seeing new faces. Where are the old faces? It's not like how possible like within a season who retire maybe 4 or 5 referees, but in a season, each and every season we are more than 5 year 20 faces. Where are the other ones? Safa irenga this thing.
Yeah.
And then in a game of such a magnitude, like the scandals. So this thing I told me it's a OT. I told me it's a at all. And then return motor finally Victor Hlongwane. A motor raised or like in as perfect. Every match and analyst scandals are high. And then atro too judgmental. Otherwise, as a neutral because the country was already fed up ka officiating ya Satari one. So but anyway,
but
at the end of the day,
should we listen to these people? I think that's my question, because as much as he's experienced, as much as he's all of those things, nasiko grounding, o shebile the lines are tanky line warning rona, all of those type of things. Should we be listening to these pundits, former refs, libatuba? What's wrong? Are you with me? Hey, let me do this. Let me do this.
I've got the question.
Okay, I've got a minute.
I've got the question. Yes, I've got the question. Yeah. OT, a very good question. Within Turkey, would you say there's this guy in Jendala mo? Oh. Okay, yeah, I'm still here. Would you say this guy in Jendala lena na hostil ne? Kare na personally. I want allow her like Remelebo Pumuto Manenza or Victor Hlongwane. We know people like Pelalebo and TikTok, like they are fully here analyzing football or sports to the fullest. You understand? Remember, OT, you are not begging a job from someone or no OT at least to favor Sundowns or Chiefs over this respond. You understand? You are not buying anyone's face. We are giving your opinion the way I'm elenkate. You understand? So that like Victor Hlongwane. Victor Hlongwane in the first place is not a god, yeah, football. You understand? You have your own opinions. More like maybe you can bring us maybe 2-3 angles, say football, a little opinions or no. How to break it, to show her like into Victor Hlongwane it's wrong. More video or in general. You understand? Even in England or Europe.
Yeah.
A player can be offside. They can't all fella.
For time, Mosi, for time. I'm gonna jump in there for time. No stress. Thank you so much for joining me. Just for time's sake, I'm gonna just move on. Let me go to Spoo. Spoo, welcome to the show. How are you?
Hi, OT, how are you?
I'm good. Spoo, 2 questions. General thoughts about the refereeing standard in South Africa, and are we blowing this out of proportion, man? Are we making a big deal out of this thing when maybe it's the norm all across the world? We see them complaining.
I'd like to agree with you on that one. I think we are blowing a proportion out of it, especially in SA when you look at the standard of refereeing. Just the technicality of it, they just fail. If you can go and look at that Sundowns game, the ref or the linesman couldn't spot if the player was offside because also himself he was ahead of the players. The players are on his left. He's just standing there. But this is another proof of saying, we are blowing this. We can bring VAR, and I promise you, OT, these complaints will still be there because the referees lack technicality. If you could go and look at the CAF, the African referees, they were so professional. And they did it very well, and it worked for them because they knew the rules. Technically, they were on spot, It's pointless. I mean, who's going to teach these people? Because even the likes of Victor Hlongwane are failing to analyze something that they can sit and analyze and look. He had something like 4 days to do that, but he failed. He comes on Monday, he tells us about the line in the feet. We all know, I mean, an offside doesn't go like that anymore. And also, South African fans, they need to familiarize themselves with the rules, you know. Let's also go into Google. Let's check the rules. Let us know what the rules are so that we can be able to comment on something. Like, for instance, that Sesane foul, you know, people say it should be a card, you know. But if you look, Van Rooyen was almost there. Even if that guy pulled through, Van Rooyen could have stopped or could have intervened. It's not a dog soul situation where it's an obvious goal scoring opportunity. But then again, people don't, you know, they don't familiarize themselves with rules, and it's gonna go into social media. It's gonna, you know, blow out of proportion, as you say, and people would say VAR. They can bring VAR. They will, because of exactly what has happened in the past few games. But also, I feel, you know, we don't also familiarize ourselves with the rules. The first thing we do, we jump into social media and we say, hey, it's wrong. And then when you come Monday, you know, chances are it could have been right. And someone, and you know, there's going to be opinion. Someone says it was brown envelope, all those things. But we all know that, you know, we don't know the rules.
Is this an opportunity? Is this an opportunity? Do they have a responsibility to maybe teach us the rules? Right? So Safa sees that things are going wrong and everybody's going crazy. Isn't there a chance for them to come out and say, no, now ref 1, 2, and 3, 4 according to law, what, so we can also learn. Do you think that would help? Do you think that they should have that responsibility?
I think so. I not only Safa, you know, because some of the rules are there by Google, you know, us, the soccer lovers, just because, like this guy was speaking about Injendala. Injendala went into Google, he checked the laws, he even spotted some of the mistakes that were made by Mr. Hlongwane, you know, and he didn't need any sort of, just Google. You know, I think as soccer fans, we need to just familiarize ourselves with the rules of the game, and then we can stop, you know, going into blogs and creating all the negative things and talking about the brown envelope and all that, which is something that will never change. In fact, it is, I think, when time goes on, it's going to discourage the efforts of the players, because some players give it all. You know, they just give it all. They want to do it. They want to win. And then you come and you say brown envelope, and it demoralizes. Let's at least familiarize ourselves with the rules, you know. And with that being said, I hope they bring VAR, but I know it's not going to work. It might work for business, because football is a business thing, but it's not going to work for fans. It's not going to work for the rules, especially in SA when you look at the standard of refereeing. It's the same. The guys that are judging in Pitso Mosimane can still judge or can still officiate in the PSL. And you see, the level of football is still not the same.
Guys, 39K, let's get to 40. I want to bring in Lihlonolo. Lihlonolo, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm good, and you?
No, I'm good. Lihlonolo, how do you feel about reffing in South Africa? And man, are we making a big deal over something that shouldn't be such a big deal?
No, I'll start with this thing of standard of refereeing in South Africa. Ne? Currently, we've got a problem on PSL. Ne? We know it's from 2019 or 2018, somewhere there. It's only one team that is been taking league. Ne? And even that thing on its own, it does affect. Why am I saying it does affect? Like, what happened on Saturday, yeah? That guy who was that referee, if I'm not mistaken, even last year he was the one who was he was referee while Sundowns was playing with Stellenbosch. Yeah? There was a time where I can't remember that guy who was playing left back of Sundowns. He tackled this guy. What's the name of that play? I can't remember.
Titus
Titus. Referee there, that guy, like, he failed there to take a decision.
Mm.
That guy was supposed to get red card. But because of lineman complained about cramps, he decided to attend lineman instead of issuing the red card and then after attend lineman. He decided just to until Sundowns tactical team made substitute. That's like Saturday's games, to be honest, I don't wanna lie.
Yeah.
Everything was just perfect. Why am I saying it was perfect? When you check that Kaizer, like that goal of Kaizer Chiefs, the 189, he blew the whistle before the ball was kicked. He blew the whistle. It's yesterday. Yeah, I just checked while they was still analyzing. Ne? They viewed the referee. Ne? After, even I can't remember that guy who was analyzing. What's his name? I forgot his name. Ne?
Yeah.
He even mentioned that we don't have VAR in South Africa. Then there was this guy who said, no, even when you don't have VAR, but we still have supporters who are using their phones. Then they took video from like the way it was. It shows that person was on top. Ne?
Okay.
While that who scored I can't remember who scored the ball. Ne? Before the ball was kicked, already into defense was falling.
Yeah.
And when I checked VAR, to be honest, VAR it's not gonna help. It's not gonna help. Just because he is still operated by human beings. It's still Chiefs has had problems. Chiefs had problems, and Sundowns had like its momentum.
Okay.
It brought troubles. Even as supporters, it's just caused like noise. Just because we know Sundowns is gonna win, and if Sundowns gonna every time we're gonna spot referee did this, referee did that, referee did this. I think VAR is not gonna help.
For time's sake, I'm gonna jump in there. Let me bring in Prasipo. Prasipo, welcome to the show. How are you?
Evening, OT and the guys. I'm good, OT. I'm good.
2 questions. General thoughts about the refereeing situation, co-countering, and then secondly, are we making too much of this?
OT, we've got good referees in South Africa. Very good referees. The issue here we're talking about is the introduction of the VAR. Introduction of VAR will help because decision will be reviewed on the field. Then a decision will be taken. Because now we are doing VAR after the match, we wait for AC Ngobo and wait for Victor Chongwane. It doesn't help our football, especially for category A matches like Chiefs v Sundowns. So we need VAR. The unfortunate part from what I've heard is that it's very expensive because you need cameras for VAR, and it will also limit the issue of sometimes referees can make human mistakes, not because they're being given money. That one must also allow. But then if we're having 4 to 5 VAR referees in the booth and then you cannot buy 8 referees. That one I don't think you can. So we need VAR in order to fix our game because our league is one of the best league in Africa. So we need VAR. The standard of refereeing in South Africa, it just need improvement in terms of technicality. Like I've looked at our referees, they like to boss the players. In England, you can wave your hand in front of the referee's face, you won't get a yellow card. But in South Africa, they like to boss, because I've played football myself. They like to boss the players and stuff. I think they can learn those technicalities and everything. And then we can introduce VAR. Maybe
this year is the time to take them to the training. I don't think it's expensive. Jerome Damon is one of the people who was teaching.
He's the head.
So he can help us because he's closer. He's in South Africa. We can have him here, train our referees. We've got a lot of referees. We know we cannot take away the issue of brown envelope because even if you give a person 100,000, the person can still take something on the side. But if you are having VAR, I'm telling you, we will get used to it. Remember when it started in 2018, we were not used to it. Now when you watch European football, you watch AFCON, if it's a goal you wait, you can't even celebrate even if you are supporting that team. Because the VAR is going to come and check. So we need VAR. I don't think people when they say without VAR, we need to train our referees technical so that they can apply themselves in a match. Like the Serino yellow card. In some big matches, you must manage the game. You don't give yellow card just early like that. You must manage the game. They need to be taught on how to manage the game as referees. And then also on how to manage the players. Remember, players have emotions. They're going to show emotions in the field on the decision that they don't like. And then you bring VAR, OT, I'm telling you.
So then, Prasipo, let's say VAR is wrong. Let's say it's like some of the things that have happened in England. What happens afterwards? Are the fans, there's no...
VAR is never wrong, guys. You see, you guys, when you watch those England matches, it is the referee who was operating the VAR who couldn't give the referee on the field. Remember, the VAR is video assistant referee. Remember, the referee is still in charge of the match, the one who's inside. So what needs to happen is that, remember, everything when you start is going to have its teething problem. Remember when VAR started, look at the AFCON. The AFCON VAR was perfected. It was done correctly. It can be done correctly, even in South Africa. The thing is, we supporters sometimes, when decisions don't favor our teams, yes, it's hurting when maybe we lose with an offside or maybe with a goal that was not supposed to be. Yes, that one, it's out of question. But we need to have VAR in PSL in order to improve our standard as well. Remember, we are a big league and it is watched, it is sponsored all over. So we need, for me, I think the solution will be VAR and the training of our referees in the technical aspect of some matches on how to handle the matches. Then we are fine. I don't think the game, maybe for Sundowns, if it was reviewed on a VAR, maybe we'll be able to see. Because the TV broadcasters, they don't have the angles like the VAR have. They don't have the lines. If you watch, I know you watch football, you watch EPN, English, you see those lines that they do there. That then it shows that it's an offside. And then someone was still saying, before we go for VAR, we must have goal line technology. You must start somewhere.
Okay, Prasipo, for time's sake, I'm going to jump in. Guys, I still have the same question. I haven't seen, I've been watching there in the comments. I haven't seen this. I've got two questions. Number one, if people here are saying that allegedly the refs are corrupt and they're taking brown envelopes, why would I do the right thing when I get VAR? Why would I do the right thing? Number one. And then number two, if the teams are benefiting, allegedly, if they are benefiting and, you can put out some money and win some games and do whatever, allegedly, why would I bring that system into the league to stop me from being able to play that card when I need it? So essentially, the question I'm asking is it going to be better or worse? And who stands to benefit most from not having VAR if these rumors that we're speaking about are true? That's what I want to know, because I think if we all agree on these things, what happens, Gay? What happens to all of these people that are so-called benefiting? Refs, teams, all of that stuff. Would they allow it? And who must make the decision? Because those teams can make the board of governors could make the decision tomorrow. SAFA could make the decision tomorrow. We could have VAR as soon as a couple of months from now. But anyway, let me not go too far. It's a question for the comments. Let me see who was here. I counted. Uplek. So guys, while I'm getting the next panel ready, the last panel, please feel free to tap the screen. I see we are on 45. Let's go. Further. Okay, let me see. Okay, I'll bring the rest in as we go along. Let me go to Blackberry. Blackberry, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm pretty low now.
Blackberry. How do you feel about refereeing in South Africa? But then, Frubuza, si Louis Sanjay, Lenda.
Okay, firstly, mina ngibazwile abantu have been in this. Yeah, ngibazwile. The first thing I want to understand is abantu base South Africa ukuthi we live in Africa. Mele sinke in lento there. Africa is a developing continent. And its facilities is also developing. You cannot say into ukuthi mele cool, mara it's mele ikale from pants basically cool until ibe mdala. So the first thing is that as a South Africans, we cannot call our South African referees as incompetent. Mind you, angipiki ukuthi kwenzakaleni like is Sundowns nan. The firstly, I want to say the first one we can argue that was an offside because the new offside rule states ukuthi inyawo le athi akamele le spana about the Arsene Wenger offside rule. But I don't mind that. But I want to say like I'm a referee. If people are saying they're not skilled, they're not abeko trained, why babizwa ke Guma World Cup? Why 10 officials as South Africa bayabizwa kwi AFCON? Does it make sense? You understand? So like that's kind of a question where I want to ask our South Africans nalabantu babukele uthi like let's not judge, at least as bafundiseni, because the minute sifaki VAR sifaki pressure, and if futhi pressure aziyenza iyabulala noma ubani, because ama they do suffer pain. That's the sad part abantu bangafuni kuyisho yabo. The second part le wangibuza yona ukuthi silungisa kanjani. Sad part is phile South Africa bribe yaphila. Ngikofara 10 rand laphayana, ngofara igati 10 rand izoyithatha vele because mina ngiyambhadala. But still at the end of the day the moral is I feel like VAR is not the resource that we need as a country. Maybe later on, but not now. Because now siyayimosha country, simosha ifun of the game. You understand? Instead of like mina the only thing khona umuntu oyishilo la asakhuluma the only thing that is needed goal line technology, not VAR, because VAR is omosha. Yeah, sure.
Okay. No, Blackberry, thank you so much. Let me go to Lani. Lani, welcome to the show. How are you?
My God, me, I'm good. How are you?
I'm trying to remember Sean. I knew that name from somewhere. Sean. 2 questions. General thoughts about VAR, general thoughts about the refereeing, and how do we fix the situation?
I think first things first. As long as the tears at Naturana, it shall be a good day. Secondly, they mustn't forget they gave us one of the best advices ever.
Yeah.
They said we must call 911. I think they must follow suit. Plus, Puhle Mkwanazi is busy. That man doesn't play. They must just call him. He will handle all these referees for them.
Yeah.
No, I think VAR is not a problem. I think VAR. You see, the thing is, people think that clubs are buying players. Are buying referees. I don't think so. Maybe in the ABC Motsepe League, sure, but not in the PSL. I don't think in the PSL clubs are buying referees. I don't think the PSL would allow that to happen, where clubs are buying referees. Maybe early on in the early 2000s. And the club that used to do that, but I don't think
allegedly.
I never even mentioned the name, but anyway, allegedly, as long as you know the name, it means you agree.
I don't know anything. Allegedly, blanket statement.
No, I think VAR is going to help. I think I think, I mean, you saw what happened at AFCON. You know, I think whether we like to believe it or not, we have good referees that make a lot of unnecessary mistakes, mostly because of positioning, to be honest with you. And VAR will be one way of fixing it. The thing is, people think VAR is supposed to come and make football perfect. You know, the one thing that we love about football is that it is not perfect. You know, it's not cricket, it's not rugby, it's not, no, it happens in that moment and we enjoy it for that moment. You know, that's why a live game is better than a repeat. You know what I mean? I mean, if you miss the game, you don't even feel like watching it again, because why would I watch a repeat? You know, unless you watch the first game. So I don't think that VAR is not going to solve the problem. I think it will. I think just people need to adjust their expectations. You know.
Hey, can I ask before we move on from that point? Here's my question: VAR gets it wrong in SA. What happens? Because it feels as though we're already supercharged. Let's say that thing is now proven for a fact that this one was offside or that one was whatever. What happens? Because at least now they can hide behind, you know, I don't have to say anything. But if there's VAR, now we all know.
I think there's only one fan base that's never going to accept, even if VAR does a good job. There's only one fan base that's never gonna agree. You know, so I think you can't hide it, guys. Once there's VAR, you can't hide it. You know, you can't hide it. And once there's VAR, nobody can come and say, let's.
Oh, please mute Tabane. Please mute Tabane.
Yeah, once there's VAR, nobody can come and say no, but the referees are humans. Yeah, you are a human who has assistants, so why can't you do the job? You know what I mean? I think the referee is going to be better under VAR, you know, and those goals, people are complaining, but those are good goals. You know, I think the mistake that people are making is they are, especially the one that is shaded, they're measuring it from, or they're looking at it from the inside of Miguel's foot, not the outside of his foot. That's why they're so convinced that the head was offside. But I was impressed by the officials in that game. I think the three big calls everybody's complaining about were really good calls. You know, so I don't know why people are complaining, or I know why people are complaining, but yeah, that is the truth that people have to accept. You know, if it's your turn, it's your turn. You know, we've been abusing this team for 10 games now. It's understandable, you know. It's understandable they're gonna cry. You know, we see them and we see Marumo Galants. We see them, and you know, it's the same thing as playing Golden Arrows or Polokwane City.
Mara,
and they don't want to admit it. You know?
Hey, Mara.
No, I'm just saying, I understand where they're coming from. So they thought they were different. They thought they were going to show up, and then they were going to, you know, they were going to win the game, and we're going to look at them differently. But it's going to take a while. You know what I mean? We are for getting a good. They really have a good coach. They played.
Yeah. Mara, for time's sake, I'm gonna jump in.
Good football is not enough. We are Mamelodi Sundowns.
Let me go to Mko. Welcome to the show. How are you?
Hey, Oti, how's it, my man?
But I'm okay. Mko, tell me, what are your thoughts about the standard of refereeing in the country? And then how do we fix it? Everybody's complaining about refs. How do we fix this thing?
You know what? I wanna. There's a question that you asked. Let me start there with the VAR issue. I'll then come to the standard of refereeing. Oti, I've got a simple question for you. I know this is a very simple question. Oti, if I may ask you, can a referee make a mistake?
Yes.
Obviously. Now, here's an issue that I think we're forgetting. The reason we have VAR is for issues like that, because we know that humans can make mistakes. So we need this technology to make sure that we are able to review decisions and come back and make the correct decision. VAR is there to intensify the fairness of the game. That's all. In terms of officiating. It's not there to favor anyone. It's there to make sure that if you have made a mistake or there's something that you did not see, we've got this technology that is going to assist you. So indeed, we need VAR. Whether people want to manipulate whatever they want to do when VAR is there, that is going to expose them. Because if VAR replay something that has happened and then it shows that indeed there was an infringement there, but the referee did not see, and then it decides not to take an action, then we all can agree and say, lo ke bamnikeze envelope brown. Because now if I am comba ukuthi lento ayijajile akusiyiyo and this is the correct decision to make. You get what I'm trying to say? So indeed, we need VAR. Now, in terms of the standard, honestly, we need to be honest. The fact that they are not paying them enough, of course, you're not going to have the best referees in the country. We might convince ourselves that we've got the best referees, but we don't. If you look at the other games, whether it's a small team that is playing, you can see a lot of decisions are being made and they are questionable all the time. Look at the decision of a yellow card, Serino. It's a big game. And then you decide to give Serino a yellow card. You could have just went into the player as a referee and say, hey, I'm warning you. If you do that again, because there was not even a contact there. He raised his foot trying to reach for the ball. And then the referee decided to issue a yellow card. At the earliest, I think it was around 14 minutes or so. And then I was so mad, I was like, no, man, there's 83,000 fans there. You are going to succumb to this pressure now. We are going to be giving out yellow cards and making wrong decisions. And then he did, indeed. He made decisions that were so questionable, even in the last minute. We've watched European football. This is a contact sport. And then immediately the ball is up there. When you are watching it, players, and then all of a sudden it's a foul. I don't believe that is a foul. I believe that Ulibusa saw which I can use this opportunity because it's the last minute. If this one touches me, I'm falling. And the referee fell to that. That is why I'm saying, let's bring on VAR. Let's bring on VAR. VAR is going to assist us to make correct decisions in this thing.
Do you trust the people that will be running VAR? I guess what I'm trying to get to is, if these guys are what we're saying they are, why would they want VAR in? Why would they bring? If we are saying, Pella, the brown envelope has to come from somewhere. If there was the brown envelope allegedly, it has to come from somewhere. So why would I stop myself from being able to give a brown envelope? Why would I stop myself from being able to take a brown envelope?
And I'm saying to you, if it continues, if we have VAR and then we see instances like that where it continues, kunama decisions are clear, and then if VAR komba ukuthi no, let decision le akusiyo, then we know OT already. Okay, so here you don't need VAR. Kahle kahle nibhizi niyadizana la ngaphandle ngama envelope so that you can buy these matches. I'm saying to you, the reason we need VAR is to assist the referee. I think that's the first thing that we need it for. To make sure that if you refragabonanga something, OT, let the video assistant refereeing assist to referee. And then the referee is able to say, oh, okay, I did not see that. Let me then make the right decision. But leama envelope, get your exposure, okay, so South Africa, we don't need it.
No. All I'm saying is that Kumbuzo Kasa will be the video referee if we are complaining about them. But anyway, let me go to Stay. Stay, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks. And how are you, Mr. OT?
I'm good. Stay, what are your general thoughts about reffing in the country? And then number two, what can fix it? How do we fix the situation?
Mina Mr. OT sengasamukele isimo saborefri la eSouth Africa kwakudala vele kubheda nje kunganamehluko. We saw this thing about 2015 when the Chiefs ibisawina uGodinho akora ngesandla against iMamelodi Sundowns. Akekho umuntu ewakhuluma nabo because majority ibiwin. Things start to become a problem kule country when le team le enama fans amaningi ihluleka ukuwin. If bungasiyona iChiefs ebeyidlala neSundowns ngeSaturday ngaba yikho and esikhuluma ngayo namhlanje ukuthi yini abantu abalethe iVAR because it benefit iSundowns against the Chiefs kumele kwenziweni kumele sikhale sonke. Even if singayilethe iVAR eSouth Africa, Mr. OT, it is not going to help us because le VAR eyoza la eSouth Africa isetshenziswa kulawo magame when ingabenefit iteam yomuntu kuzothiwa uDr Patrice Motsepe or u-Irvin Khoza uprotecta ama-interest wakhe, so utshele abo-referee ukuthi bangayi kuphi ku-VAR yabo. So kahle kahle la eSouth Africa izinto ziqala ukuba inkinga when kungabenefit i-team yakho umuntu. Abantu abanankinga uma kubenefita ama-team wabo yabo. So masilethi i-VAR iyothatha amanye ama-decisions angahambiselani nabo kwenzakaleni bathi abantu no there's someone ufuna ukuprotecta ama-interest wakhe in abayifuni i-team. We saw against iYanga when i-Sundowns faced iYanga FC lapha ku-Champions League, there was a goal lapho kwathiwa akusilona i-goal, and people came and said no, it is a goal, but because i-Sundowns and i-owner yakhona iwu-chairman we-CAF kusho ukuthi kumele i-benefit because Motsepe ubakhokhele labantu labo, which is something esingayazi ukuthi yenzekile ngempela. So bringing i-VAR kule country le esazi khona ukuthi mayingabenefiti ama-fans we-team ethile kuzovele kufane nje ngoba people will still complain, angeke kuze kushintshe lutho yabo Mr. OT. So I think mele bathathe abo-referee ayobatraina kabusha futhi bake bazame man ukubafundisa imithetho ukuthi no kwenziwa so na so na so, and please try to be consistent ngama-decision wakho. Naku manje sagiwa ngefoul yaka Musa Hebusa Miguel lapha eboxini. People are saying it's not a foul, but they can see uMiguel ayikhiphile izandla. They can see uMiguel ukunazi izandla zakhe zekumusa Lebusa, and kwenzeka kanjalo ebholweni. If someone puts their hands on you, you fall down vele uyawa. Yini into ayimele umele ukuthi akore ukuze kucelebrate bona. Hayi Mr. OT, abantu noma ngabe kunjani they will always complain. Net manje kudliwe yona iChiefs kumele sikhale kakhulu ngoba yipi ile team le enama fans amaningi kule country le. These people benefited against the Golden Arrows ngo-October. Uhlanti scored aku-offside ibingekho yonke lento, and West badliwa kuleyo game leyo. Namhlanje we are having ama-conversations lawa because kudliwa bobani labantu abahlale ba-benefit. Uma kubenefita ama-team amancane we should keep quiet esingakhulumi yabo. So bangazama ukuyiletha i-VAR, but I think now isodala inkinga. People will still continue and say about Dr. Irvin Khoza abayilethile and it favors i-Pirates, nguye umuntu ophethe i-league, so vele kuzokwenzeka kanjalo. So noma kungenziwani Mr. OT.
Oh, stay. Okay, I think we lost Ted there. Let me see. Let's give it a second. Okay, I think he's not coming back. Let me go to Tobani. Tobani, welcome. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. OT, how's it?
No, I'm good. Tell me, what are your general thoughts about the reffing standard in the country, and how do we fix the situation?
Well, standard, obviously, I don't think it's that poor. I don't think it's that poor. It's just that they always want to benefit, you know. If Chiefs benefit, I think it was last season or the season before, there was a clear penalty bebamba upole. I don't know if you remember that clip. Pamamba like straight pamgwa referee. But they didn't talk about that. Coming to this weekend, VAR will be the solution. I think it will be the solution. And remember, when you're running a business, if unama losses, you're trying to put measures in place to reduce, not to completely azopela, but you're trying to reduce ukuzwabeke low. That's how you run a business. A business will always have a loss somewhere in there. Same like football, we'll always have those controversial decisions. Remember, VAR will still need to intervene, red cards, whereby it's referee's decision to call. I feel like it was too much, or you know what I mean. But in terms of offside, obviously, it's pretty much more clear with lines. But in the red card, you can't say. Referee still needs to make a decision there.
Yeah.
But if VAR is there to reduce some of these obvious decisions. Remember, grounding sometimes uref kuyenzeka uyagijima usithi omdlali akayiboni zonke lezo zinto. Linesmen, they make mistakes. VAR is there to reduce. If these fouls, if they can look back and track it, we have this pro officiating. This season we had Ama calls offside. That one was offside. Maybe let's say 30. We were supposed to have a red card out 10 that were not called for. So bringing VAR, you will reduce those numbers. I know by significant number, probably by, if it's state, at least reduce by 10 or 20. That's something.
But can I ask you? Can I ask you on that
is
point?
Something. So if VAR will be very good.
I just want to ask you on that point.
Yeah.
Is it affecting the league? Because clearly people are taking out files from years ago. Rothman's Cup and things like that. We're still watching. The league is still on. Fans are coming to stadiums again. Is there an actual push for VAR? Is it going to affect the game that much? Or is it just us fans feeling that way, but we still watch when we're done?
We're still gonna watch football like normal, but VAR is it's gonna be very important to remove. Obviously, as a a controversy, we had this discussion. Sometimes VAR doesn't give you. We in this life because of that decision, then we're having fun, based on the controversy. But obviously, I will be mnandi if you didn't benefit. Like I don't support either of the teams. I was watching football. Obviously, everyone but people are losing money at the end of the day. Some people are losing money. Some people, they pay money to go and watch this football in stadiums, Some people are buy better. So if you're going to lose with a pure officiating decision, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Something. Obviously, it's safety food. It's very important. And also, about pundits, which are they very, very important. I think they do. They are important. Content is very important. And listening to the pioneers of the game, obviously, you take your understanding how, like, for instance, like second half, if they're talking, you listen to them based on what you were watching. Even Waibona, they don't really agree on one thing.
Yeah.
So I think content-wise, I think it's important, but either you listen to them or what, you can use your football knowledge, it's fine. But they're very important. Imagine Peli Paula, now we're just watching adverts. You know what I mean? Pundits are still very important. They are the pioneers. They are the pioneers of the game. They've done that multiple times. So there are things that they talk about that if you have never been on that high intensity level, probably you won't understand.
Okay, no.
And they touch base on those things.
Somebody for time, I'm going to jump in there. Guys, just for time's sake, because I saw somebody left a little bit early, I'm going to cut in there, Tobani. Thank you to the guys that joined on the panel. Guys, please follow. If you have not followed, please follow if you have not followed. Okay, let me close it off. This is my thoughts. I'm going to start off with the post-match shows. What's very interesting is that there's a lot of people that have a lot of power say that Vita Hlongwane's view of the game is low. Should we say that Ngobo's game is low because they are former referees? They got the same angles that we watched. They're seeing the same thing. We see Amaline. The others doing this, the others doing that, right? So when you sit down and you go, I'm listening to Pitso Mosimane, whether he's right or wrong, should I be taking that as being the law? And what's sad is that once you start doing those things, a lot of people don't care about the game. We haven't watched the game. We haven't cared about that thing. The moment we see somebody say it, it can fuel a fire, which is where I like PG Mole, the English referee thing, for at least communicating. and saying, okay, guys, as the Referees Association, here's the thing you're talking about. This is how the person saw it. Not me sitting at home, not Victor Shawan. Yes, they're great, but Oksala, it's still secondhand information. It's similar to Babchomo Sono coming out and speaking about Tito. Babchomo is important. Some people would not have watched that game. Eight Disciples, for example, will not care what Tito did in that game. But because Ukulmilu Babchomo, a lot of people are not going to care about what happened in that game. They're going to listen to what he said. And I feel the same way about the pundits. Whether right or wrong, they hold a very important part. And that is why I'm like, hey, when we speak about these conversations, it's very interesting. Number two, would VAR help? I want to take it from the point of view of you guys, what you have said and what we see on social media and we hear from people. If these referees are as evil as we say and they're taking brown bags and they're doing all that stuff, what's going to stop VAR? Guys, even in England, when they make a mistake, do you know what happens? PG Mo comes out the next day and says, I'm sorry. There's no 3 points that's allocated differently. There's no, you can rescind red cards, yes, but there's nothing really that changes after that. So what is VAR necessarily going to do here? Ref Magati, oops, I'm sorry. If you believe that those are the people. And then back to the question that I was asking. If the general consensus is that Kwanama brown bag, abo ref baso, abos banban baso, why would you bring VAR into the league? Why would you bring VAR? I'm a team. Let's say I'm a team and brown bags are real. Why would I bring in something that would make my brown bag not work the same way when I'm facing relegation or when I'm at the top or when I'm trying to get top 8 or when I'm trying to do something? Why would I take it away? If I'm a ref that allegedly is taking brown bags, why would I want VAR to come in? Because then, brown bag yami is going to be affected somehow. So I think there's other questions we need to ask about the whole thing to say, hey guys, this one, that one, that one. If we agree with these things, everybody say, why would we even ever see VAR? Then on the last point that I want to close with, guys, like I think sometimes we blow things out of proportion. And I think sometimes we are unfair as fans. And the reason why I'm saying it's unfair as fans is that Richards Bay gets robbed versus Chippa United. You don't care. But because it's Chiefs and Shem, when Chiefs is up, look at the conversations that happen because Chiefs is up. But anyway, when Chiefs gets robbed, quote unquote, at the end of a game, we must all kick up dust. Instead of saying, okay, guys, on the balance of everything, you know, I wish we had those things. I wish there was some sort of communication from the Referees Association to say, okay, fine, guys, these are the amount of problems that were made or issues we found. This is how we dealt with them. These are the ones that are correct. These are the ones that are not, or at least give us the numbers so that we know the whole thing, because all of us also are judging from Chiefs, Pirates, Sundowns games. So those are the things that I want us to really, when we speak about these things, take into account. Also, when we speak about the refs, when we speak about the refs in terms of their situation, we must remember some things. They're part-timers in terms of they all have jobs. Some of the training happens up to 2 weeks before the league starts about new things. Those things come into this. When you go into VAR, you're going to have to train these guys and do all of that stuff. Can you do that with part-timers? There's the situation between SAFA and the PSL. Who holds who accountable? If the refs are from SAFA, PSL can wipe their hands off of the refs, and SAFA can also wipe their hands off the PSL and say, oh, mara guys, ref, and we don't know. So these are all other things from all around that also come into these situations where we speak about what happens. And for me, I think communication is the biggest thing, not only for them to clear their names, but we get it from the horse's mouth. But then also, guys, we can learn about the game. Some of us are making up rules. Some of us are making up rules. Nam, I don't know Law 12, what Law 12 says. So I think maybe they should take that time to teach us those things, and don't just fan, man, the thing, yeah, the hatred or the anger for that game. Which is why I think about Tasongwane and those guys are so interesting, because it's like, nah, only VAR, the VAR that you guys are speaking about, SuperSport has all of the cameras. SABC has all of the cameras. We see VAR every day on Soccer Zone, but you know what happens? Soccer Zone and the one on SuperSport are fighting. Low trauma line so, low trauma line so. We see what happens in England. How many times? Guys, let's be honest about VAR. Maybe that's another issue. Let's be honest about VAR. Is VAR as perfect as we're making it sound here? Or did we not see, man, the foot, and then they throw a line up and people are complaining in England about, no, that line doesn't represent this, doesn't do this, doesn't do that. Is it really as perfect as we are saying it is? At AFCON, at AFCON, when you speak about AFCON, when you speak about CAF Champions League, some of the situations didn't even go to VAR. The ref was like, Anila, I don't want to go and see VAR. So let's have real conversations about these things. But guys, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you to everybody that jumped into the comments. Thank you to the panelists. Thank you to everybody that gave me the 51,000 likes there. You know, so thank you to Mzito, Kalifang, Ndala, Fandenom, Papatejo, Shudus, Velile, Nwasalani, aka Rivo. You must come back to the show, please. Crazy T, Abuti Kuto, Unati. Thank you so much for the gifts on that side. If you like the show and you like what happens here, we speak together. You get a chance to speak. It's not former coaches and former refs and former what. We have a place where we can speak together. Please follow and consider coming back. Monday to Thursday, 7 p.m. The show is here. You can watch any of the previous episodes on my YouTube channel, The Overthinking Football Show. They are there in full. You can hear some of the amazing conversations we've had. And then, of course, if Chiefs, Pirates, Sundowns, Bafana, Banyana Bastyle, UWC in the Champions League, if they're playing, we are going to be here live in a watch-along. And it's a very similar thing. I analyze some things. I speak to you guys. We speak. It's an incredible place to be. I also release content every single day. Today, I released a video where I'm showing you guys why Chiefs are struggling defensively. That is on YouTube and on Facebook. So please support us content creators that do these things. Guys, it's been incredible. I'll see you then tomorrow at 7 p.m. Bye, everyone.